Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqeel ibn Abu Talib alayhi salam was the nephew of Imam Ali and the cousin of Imam Hasan alayhi salam and Imam Husayn alayhi salam. He was also married to Imam Ali's daughter Ruqayya. Hazrat Muslim bin Aqeel was among the bravest warriors of the Arab world and one of the most trusted members of the Ali Bayt. Within the scheme of things of which Allah has complete knowledge, the four bravest people who could have easily destroyed the forces of Yazid bin Muawiyah were not destined to fight in the Battle of Karbala in 61 AH. Hazrat Muhammad Hanafiya ibn Imam Ali was told to stay in Medina. He was later to assist Imam Zain al-Abidin ibn Imam Husayn alayhi salam. Hazrat Muslim was sent to Kufa as the emissary of Imam Husayn. In Karbala itself, Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam was not allowed to use weapons against the Yazidi forces. And finally, in a brief but fierce fight reminiscent of his illustrious ancestors, including Hazrat Ali himself, and after all his relatives and companions were martyred, the Imam himself showed the Yazidi forces that had it not been for his mission to save Deen-e Islam with his own blood, they could not have overpowered Bani Hashim's clan. He stopped fighting when he heard the divine call for fulfilling his promise to sacrifice his life for Deen Islam.
Hazrat Muslim ibn Aqil accompanied Imam Husayn alayhi salam to Makkah from Medina on 28th Rajab 60 Hijri. During his stay in Makkah, Imam Husayn received thousands of letters from the residents of Kufa, pleading him to come and guide them against Yazid, who had succeeded his father Muawiyah bin Abu Sufyan. The Imam decided to send Hazrat Muslim to Kufa with a letter for the Kufians which said, "I am sending my cousin and one of the most trusted ones from my family, Muslim ibn Aqil, to report to me about your affairs. If his report agrees with what you have written, I will soon be with you. You must be clear of the fact that the Imam is the only one who follows the book of Allah and serves Allah in all matters and affairs with justice, honesty and truth." Hazrat Muslim with a small group of people left Makkah on 15th of Ramazan 60 Hijri. They arrived in Kufa on the 5th of Shawwal 60 Hijri. Hazrat Muslim first went to the house of Al-Mukhtar ibn Abu Ubaid al-Thaqafi, a noble and a very generous man. The governor of Kufa, Al-Nu'man ibn Bashir, was told of Hazrat Muslim's arrival, but he had no intentions to harm him or any member of the Ahl Bayt. At the same time, more than 18,000 people pledged their allegiance and support to the Imam. Muslim ibn Aqeel, encouraged by this response, sent a letter to Imam Husayn through Abis ibn Shabib, in which he reported to the Imam and invited him to Kufa. On hearing the developments in Kufa, Yazid decided to replace Nu'man. He ordered Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad to go to Kufa, capture Muslim ibn Aqeel, and see what is appropriate, to imprison him, send him to exile, or to kill him. The extreme hatred and atrocities of Ibn Ziyad towards the Ahl Bayt and the followers of Ahl Bayt were well known. After taking control, Ibn Ziyad's first step was to have all the entry and exit points of Kufa sealed. He also addressed the people in the Grand Mosque of Kufa in these words: "Anyone found to be sheltering one of those who scheme against the authority of the commander of the faithful and who does not hand him over will be crucified on the door of his own house."
Ibn Ziyad was aware of the secret meetings of the Shias in Kufa and that they were protecting Muslim bin Aqeel. He ordered his servant Aqeel to trick the Shias in posing as a Syrian slave who was to personally deliver a donation to Muslim. Aqeel succeeded in meeting Muslim in the Grand Mosque and swore allegiance to him. He then reported to Ibn Ziyad about the whereabouts of Hazrat Muslim and his companions. Using the information provided by Aqeel, Ibn Ziyad was able to find out that Muslim was staying at the house of Hani ibn Urwa alayhi salam. Hani was arrested, beaten badly, and thrown into prison. He was later to be executed with Muslim ibn Aqil.
Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam, feeling danger to the lives of his friends, left Hani's house. On 7th of Zilhajj 60 Hijri, he tried everything to send a letter to Imam Husayn alayhi salam, requesting him not to come to Kufa, but to no avail, as all the exits were sealed and guarded by Ibn Ziyad's soldiers. In the late evening on the 8th of Zilhajj, tired, hungry and exhausted, Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam stopped at a house on the outskirts of the city. Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam requested for a little water from the lady called Taw'a to quench his thirst. When she learnt who he was, she invited him in. When late that night her son learnt that the man Ibn Ziyad was looking for was in his mother's house, he went out in the darkness of the night and delivered the information to Ibn Ziyad's army. Early in the morning, 500 soldiers led by Muhammad ibn Ashas surrounded the house. Hazrat Muslim fought bravely, killing some 150 men in the first battle. Ibn Ziyad had to send in reinforcements twice. Now some soldiers were throwing stones from the rooftop, others dug a trench in the path of Hazrat Muslim. Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam was seriously wounded, but he was still fighting. Finally he fell into a pit and was taken to the court of Ibn Ziyad. Hazrat Muslim entered the court undaunted by Ibn Ziyad and did not bow to him. Someone reminded him to pay respect to Ibn Ziyad, the Amir or ruler. Hazrat Muslim replied that his Amir was only Imam Husayn alayhi salam.
Ibn Ziyad asked Hazrat Muslim for his last request. Hazrat Muslim said, I owe a debt which should be discharged by selling off my sword and armor. Secondly, I want my body to be given a proper burial. Thirdly, I want a message sent to Imam Husayn advising him not to come to Kufa. Ibn Ziyad agreed to the first request, but refused to honor his request for proper burial or any letter from him to Imam Husayn. On the 9th of Zilhajj 60 AH, the day when Muslims were celebrating Eid al-Adha, Ibn Ziyad ordered Hazrat Muslim to be executed and his body to be thrown from the roof of the palace, Dar ul-Amara, to the ground below. In order to further intimidate the populace, Ibn Ziyad ordered the bodies of Hazrat Muslim and Hazrat Ibn Urwa to be dragged through the streets and markets in Kufa. Hazrat Muslim's body was then crucified upside down, and the heads of the two men were sent to Yazid to be displayed on the streets of Damascus.
It is narrated that when Hazrat Muslim was on the roof of Darul Amara, Imam Husayn alayhi salam was on the way to Kufa. At one stage the Imam said, Wa alaykas salam. When Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam inquired who was he answering, the Imam said, My brother Muslim has sent his last salam to me from the roof of Darul Amara. Then Imam showed Hazrat Abbas the execution of Hazrat Muslim. Hazrat Abbas requested the Imam to send him by the powers of his Imamat to Kufa to help Hazrat Muslim. The Imam replied that this was the will of Allah and that Hazrat Muslim was not alone there. Then the Imam asked Hazrat Abbas to see through his two fingers. Hazrat Abbas saw that as the severed head of Hazrat Muslim was thrown on the ground, a lady clad in black was standing at the footsteps of Darul Amara, and Hazrat Muslim's head fell on her lap. Imam Husayn alayhi salam said that the lady was his mother, Bibi Fatimatu Zahra salamullah alayha. At that moment the Imam embraced the daughter of Hazrat Muslim. Everybody was weeping on hearing the tragic news. This was the first martyrdom from amongst the family of the Holy Prophet, directly related to the tragedy of Karbala. He is buried in the Masjid of Kufa, where thousands of people go every year to visit Hazrat Muslim's shrine and to pay their respects.